Ladies and gentlemen, that is the legendary Michael Jackson. Blame It on the Boogie. Him and his brothers. I miss that dude. One of the most incredible and talented artists the world has ever seen. You better go out and see This Is It. I know I shouldn't be promoting other people's shit, but I will, because music ain't gonna never, ever, 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 ever be the same without dude. But his song is apropos for tonight's topic, and tonight's topic is called What Had Happened Was. Now, we know what that means in the hood. That is the first thing somebody say when they are making an excuse about something they did. Well, what had happened was. That's tonight's topic. 877-2-106-106 is the number to dial. What effect does persistent excuse making have on your relationships? And I know, there are a lot of people out there who say, man, if a dude is, or if a man or a female is making a gang of excuses, the trust is the first thing that gets broken down in the relationship. Please reach out to me and talk to me about your experiences with the what had happened was type of person. Now, understand this too. There's a lot of what had happened was in the media. We're going to get to that too. Why did it take FEMA forever to get to the Katrina victims? Well, what had happened was, right? 877-2-106-106 is the number to dial. The Richmond rape case, right? Why is it that all these little boys are standing around for 2.5 hours watching this young lady, right, get molested and raped and beaten for 2.5 hours? Well, what had happened was, why is it that figures like Bill Cosby and all these guys are blaming hip-hop and the hip-hop generation and hip-hop music for what's wrong with everybody today? Well, what had happened was, please call in and share your what had happened was moment where excuses, actually just run rampant. 877-2-106-106 is the number to dial. You're listening to ZoWilliams, Zometheus Rising on Foxxhole Radio, Sirius 106 XM 149. Once again, I'm ZoWilliams, a.k.a. the voice of reason, and I want to welcome you all to the Better Business Bureau of Bomb-Ass Relationship Skills Hour. And by now, you should know that it's no secret that this show is here to serve as your personal relationship help desk. I want to personally welcome all my friends and say, hey, this is the Death of Relationship Dumbassification Hour, and if you have any issues, feel free to call. 877-2-106-106 is the number to dial. Of course, I have segments like the Make Up to Break Up segment or the Mend It to End It segment where we talk about relationships, any kind of relationship, work, friends, family, or personal. If you have issues, if you have a particular situation that's going on and you want to talk to me about it, just email me at zo@sirius-radio.com. Once again, zo@sirius-radio.com. Tonight's topic, what had happened was excuse making. Ladies and gentlemen, please reach out. What is the difference between people making excuses or people giving you a valid reason? What is the difference between an excuse and a reason? Can we go into that? I got some things to talk about. Do you want to talk about it? And if you want to participate online, www.myspace.com/Voice of Reason 106 is my MySpace page. Or you can get me at www.facebook.com/zo.williams1. And I'm on Facebook. Y'all can reach out and let me know what's cracking there. Or at ZoWilliams on Twitter. Or, there's so many places to get me, but let's do it. Let's have this conversation. Let's go out there. Let's participate. Let's get busy. We only have an hour, and I want to continue this conversation out in the blogger sphere. So, at Foxxhole Radio, you can catch me. So let's get this done. If this is your first time tuning into the Voice of Reason with ZoWilliams, here's a quick breakdown of what I do. I give practical advice regarding all things relationship. I cover everything from conflict resolution, communication issues, baby mama and daddy drama, sex, money, astrology, cheating, blended families, religion, culture, and marriage. I also do a thing called Open Line Thursdays where people from all over the world can call in with their issues for the purpose of gaining a little insight into their problems as well as getting some laughs in on the side. What had happened was I get in my son's ass every day. my son brought home a report card that said, your son, it didn't say your son. Do you know how the teachers give a little note beside the grade? And I knew what my son's teacher was doing. He said, Nuriel performs below his capabilities. And I presented that to my son. He was like, he's always on me, and he's always this, and he never listens, I said, you're making excuses. I said, let me tell you what your teacher is doing. My son took offense to it because he thought his teacher was taking a slight at him, taking a jab at him. I said, boy, he knows you're better than the work you're turning in. Now, it's not like my son is in the top part of the class, but the teacher sees more, and that was the teacher's way of motivating him by saying, man, he's passing the test. He's at the top of the class, but let me push him and see what he's made of. My son came with, well, what had happened was I left my book at home. I didn't fail the test. And I always tell my son, it's not up for negotiation. You see, 877-2-106-106 is the number to dial. Well, what had happened was, share your story with me. I want to know. Now, listen to this. Benjamin Franklin once said, he that is good for making excuses is seldom good for anything else. Every one of us has been guilty of falling short of our best selves at some point in our lives. Yet, when we are questioned, most of us opt to point the finger away from our internal culprit. According to the Bible, I don't like to Johnny Mack you with the Bible, but according to the Bible, the very first excuse was Adam blaming Eve for giving him the forbidden fruit. Adam goes on to blame God for giving him Eve. Man, the woman you gave me, right? Now, Eve for giving Eve as a mate. When God begins to question Eve on her contribution to the problem, she in turn blames everything on the serpent. True to form to our biblical parents, many modern day people blame the bad things that they do on the devil while considering that all good things that happen to them to be blessings from God himself. Some people become helpless victims of whatever circumstance that they happen to find themselves in the present moment. Unfortunately, we make our endless excuses at great expense to both our personal growth as well as the overall growth of our civilization, the overall growth of humanity. Tonight's show, what had happened was, are incessant excuses ruining your relationship? The voice of reason challenges you to put up or shut the fuck up. And for all you people out there who don't think I cuss, I got layers. I'm an onion, right? I'm a man in progress. I'm a work in progress. And we want to challenge you to take accountability for your BS. What had happened was, questions. Does your partner make excuses when it comes to their portion of upholding the household chores? Nowadays it's a dual situation going on in the house. Everybody got to work, right? Everybody's got to go out and pull their share financially, but also everybody's got to come home and pull their share as far as chores and the house duty. And Dr. John Gray talked about it when he was on the show before, when he said that women are pulling a double shift because men like to come home and go in the cave and download, while women go home and do homework and do hair and get people prepared for baths and cook and the man is sitting somewhere, downloading. Women are becoming overwhelmed. Women, for the first time in history, women, the age, you remember women used to outlive men. That's starting to normalize. Men and women are starting to live about the same amount of time because more women are now in corporate America and their testosterone levels are rising. Call me. 877-2-106-106 is the number to dial. Does your partner act as if they are never at fault in arguments? Do you feel the person you're dating makes too many excuses concerning the problems in their lives? Somebody talk to me. I want to hear what you got to say. 877-2-106-106. Before I move on, let me introduce my first guest. And when I tell you, what was the name of the first white dude that stepped foot on American soil? Was it John Smith? Disney does shows like, this bullshit all the time where the golden blonde-haired savior from Europe comes and civilizes the fine-ass Pocahontas savage, and she's teaching his ass how to listen to the wind and shit, and birds is talking to this motherfucker. God damn, you talk to birds? Her. She's in the building tonight. Pocahontas is, when I tell you, I wish, nigga, I wish, you know how Emerald Lagasse talks about smell-o-vision? Like, I wish you could smell what I'm cooking right now. This woman that's sitting next to me, man, just, oh God. Her name is Lorena Tapiero. She's a graduate of St. John's. Am I lying?
Yep, St. John's University, Queens, New York.
When I tell you she's fine as hell, do you have, I'm gonna tell you why she's here. Do you have Facebook? Because the people who listen to this who listen to this show, they will go look you up. Lorena Tapiero.
Yeah, well, I would check out my reel, www.youtube.com and /L Tapiero, T-A-P as in Peter, I-E-R-O.
When I tell you a spicy taco that speaks is
Colombian.
I don't give a damn. What are y'all eating? Frijoles? I don't know. But she is gorgeous when I tell you that. Lorena Tapiero, she's going to be my co-host for the first half hour of this show. And talk to me, Lorena. Let's talk to our listeners really quickly. Okay. What is your experience with the excuse maker? What had happened was.
Well, basically, I feel like as if you cry wolf and lie so many times, when it's really a truthful matter, we're just really not going to believe you. So, and basically another problem too, us women, we like to have it all out on the table. And acting shady only raises doubt and suspicion, which leads to not getting laid.
Wow.
So it's basically up to you how you want to handle that. I preferably really just want honesty. Sometimes honesty is not the best policy, but I'm very blunt and upfront, and there's no skeletons in my closet. I'm going to lay it all out on the table. So I expect my partner, my fiance, my husband, boyfriend, whoever to do the same thing.
Wait a minute. This is the new millennium, and dating is the new open relationship. So honesty is the bullshit in dating world. Let's just be, am I lying? Motherfuckers be lying all day in America during dating world.
No, for sure. But there's nothing really to lie about. I mean, just, I don't know, for me, I just like everything kind of thrown out there.
So you think what had happened was kind of, dude, that's a red flag. That's an indicator that you're dealing with some bullshit right off the top.
Pretty much. And I really don't have much tolerance for bullshitters.
Ladies and gentlemen, 877-210-6106 is the number to dial. Lorena, you're also you studied journalism, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so when you see her reel, you're going to see her work. And man, I'm telling you, she's very talented, very incredible. Let's go on and ask a few more questions because I want the callers to get on the lines right now. 877-210-6106 is the number to dial. Listen, do you resent that your partner is chronically unreliable? How many people have that unreliable person where, you just say, you know what? I'm going to call my sister. Because if I call my dude, I know he's going to let me down. Or vice versa. I'm not going to call my woman because she's so scatterbrained or whatever. She going to forget. I told her this morning, but watch. When I get back to the house, she ain't going to know. Right? She going to act like I never said whatever. That's why I have to do plan B. How many people are so chronically unreliable, and what happened was, like, in your relationship, that you have to rely on your plan B? Was there a time in your life where you were forced to stop making excuses? How old were you? Call in and let me know how old you were when you recognized that excuses weren't helping you. I told my son today, I said, man, every time you make an excuse, you die a little bit. He was like, damn, Dad. I said, for real. Every time you make an excuse, you die a little bit. 877-210-6106 is the number to dial. Iris from Tennessee, you're in the voice of reason. It's your time to chime. Holla.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, yes. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, my partner. Every time he do something wrong, it's always, well, what will happen is I done got mad. Okay, and, he used the excuse a lot about him being mad for things that he do. And I mean, I don't understand where he be coming from. Really, it's like, okay, he gets mad and he acts out. He do a lot of things under the Anger Act. And I mean, and that be the excuse all the time.
Iris,
yes.
I so appreciate you calling. We got like a whole lot of callers in the background. But let me deal with your husband real quick offline. I appreciate your call. You brought my state, hometown, Tennessee, home state into the building. I appreciate you for calling. Now let me deal with this. We're talking about accountability. Thank you, Iris, for calling, right? We're talking about accountability, right? When you got the dude that's not accountable for his actions, not responsible, you're dealing with this excuse guy. Now we're dealing with a trust issue. And once trust is gone in a relationship, the relationship is worthless, in my opinion. If you can't rely on somebody, you remember that test that therapists do when they say, your partner stands behind you, right? Just fall back. They're going to catch. You know how frightening that is to most people, right? You know how dangerous that is to most people. And let me deal with Iris and her dude. There's a such thing, and I want you guys to look this up. I want my listeners to go out and look this up. There is a such thing called black male, listen to this very carefully, black male privilege, right? This is something heavy. There's an author of a book called A New Black Man. Michael Anthony Neal wrote this book, and he talks about black male privilege. And he talks about how black men make excuses because of how we were raised, right? Because of the conditions and the circumstances that we were raised under. Slavery, ageism, sexism, racism, classism, all of that. And they say, well, because we were raised in a fucked up situation, we get to be misogynistic. We get to be violent towards our women, right? What had happened was because what had happened was because the school system, what had happened was because, so he writes this book, A New Black Male. You should go out. You should check it out. My question is to you, and let's go into it. We could cover it all from your relationships to what's happening in the community. What had happened was black male privilege. That's a little different from Tim Wise when he talks about white male privilege. Here's an example of white male privilege. Justin Timberlake helps Janet Jackson show her nipple in Super Bowl Sunday. But Janet Jackson was the one that had to be contrite. The rest of the people accepted Justin Timberlake's excuse of, I didn't know. I wasn't a part of the wardrobe malfunction. Motherfucker, you pulled the shit off. And you stared like the rest of us. He was not reprimanded for anything, didn't have to apologize, but Janet did. White male privilege. Or, go get Tim Wise's book. I like to point out certain books. Go read Tim Wise's book about this. It's a very heavy topic. So, when we talk about what had happened was, we have to talk about accountability, dependability, responsibility, integrity, and honor. When you're dealing with somebody that doesn't respect what you're about to the point where, who said this before? You do what you want to do. Everybody does what they want to do. And then if they're not doing something and they realize, damn, that was a little inconsiderate, they come back with the excuse. Lorena, tell me, I'd like to know personally, how do you deal with a guy that is all about getting what he wants from you, and then after he gets what he wants, everything is excuse why he can't be available? Talk to me.
Well, I really believe that you can also mold your men.
Shit.
I feel basically women, if you do not know how to cook, get some cooking lessons. That is the key to my heart, is through my stomach. If you can't cook and you can't lay it down in the bedroom,
wow,
those are two big important things in a relationship. And I feel that, there's men like to stray because they don't find things at home. If you can really take care of them at home, it doesn't mean you have to be their servant. We get it. It's women now at age are really different than how we were raised before. So,
but you're young. Yeah,
absolutely.
But 12? No, she's about 17.
No, I'm actually a puma. I'm officially a puma. No, not a cougar, but a puma. I'm 30. I just turned 30.
Don't talk exotic shit to me.
So, as I said, I feel that I'm very much a giver, not a taker. So for me, I think that those qualities can definitely be instilled in your man. I think that it's our kind of that's why men and women are such different beasts and polar opposites, because we complement each other.
What about the sex excuses?
What
Who
about
runs into that? I hear that a lot. The sex excuses.
meaning what? Faking orgasms?
I got a headache. I'm too tired. I'm not in the mood.
Well, unfortunately, sometimes when you're in a relationship for so long, it just gets a little boring. So it's kind of like,
well, shit, just close your eyes and pretend you're getting a shot.
But that's hey, I don't know, to each their own, but that doesn't really happen to me. I mean,
I'm preoccupied with work. What about the other one? I'm angry with you, so I'm withholding sex.
Well, you need to let that out. It's not good to be bottling stuff into.
You need a shower. You stink. I don't want to do it. It's too soon in our relationships. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, call me with your what had happened was story. 877-210-6106 is the number to dial. I want you to participate in this conversation. We're about to take a quick break, but I will be back in a quick moment. The show is getting crazy. We have other guests. People are in here milling around with food and everything. Let's talk about it. I will see you in a moment. Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever heard a record that sounds like home cooking, let that ride. That sounds like somebody's grandmama is in the kitchen and there's all type of spices over a bubbling cauldron of soul music.
Standing here looking in the mirror.
Ladies and gentlemen, ZoWilliams, Voice of Reason, has returned. What had happened was excuses. Are they ruining our relationships? But before I get into that, or back into that, I want to hip my listeners to the Foxxhole Radio tour with our friends from Bud Light. Join Johnny Mac, Claudia Jordan, Speedy, the Poetess, Louis Dix. I love Louis Dix. Please don't ever think I don't love Louis Dix. And TDP with more special guests. Sometimes I might even pop up every now and again. Friday, November 21st at 650 North Dearborn Street in Chicago. Foxxhole Radio tour with our friends from Bud Light. We'll be rolling into that city November 21st. At 650 North Dearborn Street in Chicago. Then the next day, then the next day, Saturday, November 22nd, at XO Lounge, right? That's 3146 Locust Street and Compton Ave. Both shows are 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Foxxhole Radio tour, I'm telling you, we're going to fall into your city. There's some beautiful music again. Foxxhole Radio, the tour is going to fall into your city. Let's see, we got Friday, November 20th, 2006, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Joint. That's what this place is called in Chicago, the Joint. Then Saturday, November 21st, XO Lounge. And then Friday, December 4th in New York City. December 4th, New York City, BB King. I'm going to that shit. You can believe that. Saturday, December 5th, the Ibiza nightclub in Washington, D.C., Foxxhole Radio tour. Let's get back to our topic. What had happened was, I have quotes. Thomas Fuller once said, bad excuses are worse than none. Listen to that. That's very heavy. William Shakespeare, and oftentimes excusing of a fault doeth make a fault worse by the excuse. Let's do it a little simpler. A lie is an excuse guarded. Jonathan Swift. Whoever wants to be a judge of human nature should study people's excuses. Now, before I get into this, let's break this down, because people don't know the difference between an excuse and a reason. Let's talk about an excuse and a reason. Lorena,
Yep.
What is fundamentally an excuse to you versus a reason? Not a reason. That nigga's gone. Go ahead.
Excuse, I would say, is just a half-ass thing, just being lazy. And a reason is maybe not wanting to tell the truth because it might hurt someone's, feelings.
A reason is not wanting to tell the truth?
An excuse. I don't know.
You went to St. John. Stop fucking up. These niggas are listening. They are listening. This is the bullshit.
I don't know. Bottom line, excuse to me is just being lazy and not wanting to follow through with stuff. So
I concur with the excuse part. So what is a reason?
A reason?
She got notes and everything, y'all. Shit.
Hey, got me with that one. I mean, I don't know. I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Well, this is what I think. This is what I think. I agree with you on the excuse part. I think the excuse part is a way to avoid your responsibility in a particular situation. A way to shirk your responsibility, right? And I think excuses are the root of a person being non-accountable, right? This is my back door. This is my scapegoat. Now, a reason, on the other hand, is an explanation of a situation in context. What really happened? And I always like to, for instance, there's this thing called, the fundamental attribution error, right? In sociology. Look it up. Don't believe shit I tell you. I'm a charlatan. I told you I'm a work in progress. The fundamental attribution error is this. In sociology, what they say is people tend to place more meaning on a person's behavior and personality. In other words, a person might behave a certain way, right? And then they'll say, well, because they behaved that way, right? Because they behaved that way, they'll attribute personality qualities based on the behavior. They don't even care about the situation and circumstances that dictated or influenced the behavior. Here's a perfect example. You driving your car. Motherfucker swerve and cut you off. The first thing you do based off of that behavior is what? Cuss a motherfucker out. What the fuck is this foreigner doing? They shouldn't even be in America driving like that. You know how we do. Don't act like some of the most racist shit ever said is said in the car when you driving. Let's just be motherfucking Mexicans. These niggas. There's too many of them here anyway. Or the tight-eyed bastards. They can't even see. Cutting niggas. Let's not be fake. Is that not what's happening? But we don't look at the situation. Maybe the dude's phone rang, right? And he dropped it and he swerved, or maybe his wife is in the back seat delivering a baby. And, she had some type of pain or something. It's called the fundamental attribution error. What we do is tend to marginalize the situation and circumstance that help mold our behavior and just tend to focus on the behavior. So you might, based off of a person's behavior, just blame them. Oh man, you just making excuses, nigga. You got, like Jamie Foxx said, you got more excuses than a nigga going to jail. Right? No, it could be a valid reason for why. What do you think? You don't know? Fucking hilarious.
You got me on the excuse and reason. I'm just here with I just got the excuse part.
Lord have mercy, Jesus. Fucking hilarious. You're in the building. It's your time to chime.
What up, Zoe? So glad
up,
you put Lou Dix in his place last night, but you were accountable for what you said to him last night.
Hey, man, let me address that. Let me address that, and then I'll get to you. At the end of the day, people, remember the different strokes? Now the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you may not be right for some, motherfucker. And my thing is this. People misinterpret me drastically. It's not that I'm against marriage. I think marriage is for those who can handle the burden of it. Right? I think it's for those who can deal with what it really represents. It does not represent a fucking ceremony and a ring. There's a divine component to it. There's not just a fucking social component to it. You understand? So many look up, do some research about black male masculinity. There's a certain kind of black man, right? That, or archetype or figure, right? This guy here is the emotional or the emotionless provider. His whole thing is, let me just take care of my motherfucking kids, take care of my wife. And we're talking about back in the day, right? Let me just take care of my kid and take care of my wife. But he wasn't really emotionally available for the kids because of the burden of just taking care of his people. You have to understand, marriage is a dual movement that has a social component and a personal spiritual component. The personal spiritual component deals with the core of relationship, meaningful relationship, purposeful relationship, fruitful relationship. That aspect gets lost when motherfuckers is chasing the symbol instead of what the symbol symbolizes. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Fucking hilarious. Speak on what you got to say.
Well, you know, Joe Biden said during the Obama election, during the presidential election, he said, I never judge a man by his actions. I always look at his motives and why he did something.
The intention behind the behavior. Go deeper.
Absolutely. I'm one of those guys who work in a field. I sell copiers, plain and simple. And if you don't come back with results, there are no excuses. There are no fucking reasons. You know, you have to be accountable.
There are reasons
every day for what you do out in the field, you know. And a lot of times my boss looks at me like, are you fucking kidding me? You came back with this? I got one of the toughest areas, downtown L.A. All those fucking towers are locked down. You can't even get in them bitches to cold call to see a customer. Coming back with no fucking appointments? Are you kidding me? You've been out all day and you got nothing? Well, boss, what had happened was, you see, and there it is.
Fucking hilarious, man. I appreciate you for reaching out to the Voice of Reason. Man, you know you're more than welcome to reach out anytime. You here in L.A., you represent it. I appreciate it. Let me go to, before I go to Trouble in Kentucky. Trouble, you're about to come on in about 5 seconds, so just hold tight. God damn it, legendary fallen pigeon from the coop has returned home to roost. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than one of the finest light-skinned motherfuckers I have ever seen. I'm telling you, boy, it's creamy light, and it's beautiful. You won't believe who's sitting in the studio with me right now. Please get to your Twitters. Go Twitter her. Go to her Facebook. Nigga, Danisha Danielle. Fallen Pigeon is in the building. Say what's up to the listening, baby.
That's my title now?
The fallen Pigeon. Wings
up,
broken
Foxxhole?
and shit. Ain't got no feathers.
I think I'm all right.
She all right?
Yeah,
She
I'm
upgraded
good.
to Falcon. Shit.
That's right. Swan, baby.
It's good to
Keep
see
your
you.
pigeon.
Wow, it's good to see you. I know you're biting at the charm to participate. Talk to me.
I think I don't know. I was feeling you up until you said the difference between excuses and
Not with
reasons.
your hands, though.
Maybe
Shit.
later. Maybe
Okay,
later.
good. Thank you.
But to me, it's all an excuse. It's either a good excuse or a bad excuse, but it's all an excuse.
I forgot. She's a hardliner, ladies and gentlemen. Go with it, hardline.
I mean, I'm just saying, whatever the reason is, whatever what had happened was, it's
Is
either
an
a good
excuse?
one or a bad one. But it's all an excuse. Now, if you're caught in a burning fire and that's why you're late to come pick me up for the date, I'm okay with that. That's a good excuse.
Why so extreme? Does it have to be a fire?
Yeah.
Why can't the nigga just
Kind
be
of.
late?
Without a call?
And here we go.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, this is my thing. So, or a bad excuse would be, I fell asleep. I couldn't find my phone.
Why is that a bad excuse when A, it's the truth,
Why'd you fall asleep?
right? Because my thing is, lie about falling asleep and then you mad at that.
No, that's
Tell the
liar.
truth about falling asleep and you mad at that too.
Oh.
Hey, I fell asleep.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I hate you. Shit, I'm tired. That's not good enough.
I think that apologies are better than excuses. And I think that a lot of times when people are making excuses,
Wait a
they
minute.
forget the apology.
I'm going to change your name to Extremator. Apologies are the polar opposite of excuses. Hey, I'm sorry, because you keep fucking up. I don't want to do that. Trouble from Kentucky. You're in the Voice of Reason. It's your time to chime. Holla.
What's going on, Zo? How y'all doing, ladies?
I'm having a great time. What's up
Fabulous.
with you?
That's good. First, I want to say, Zo, I commend you for standing up for your reasoning with Louis Dix last night.
Thank you, love.
Completely understand both parts of where you're coming from, but I just hats off just for standing your ground. A little more testosterone than I'm used to hearing from you, but hey.
You hear testosterone all the time. I didn't know testosterone had a sound. But keep going, Trouble. Shit.
Sure. Wanted to tell you about from last night. But anyway, you touched on so much stuff. When I stopped making excuses,
Right.
I was 22 when I realized, fuck it, I'm grown. You don't have to like me. If I did it, I did it. If I didn't, I didn't. The bottom line, it is what it is. If I said it, I meant it. Deal with it.
Wow.
That's not making my excuses.
And didn't you realize at 22 when you said, fuck it, I'm grown? Didn't you realize it's all win or lose based off of my decision-making process? If I make a foul decision or if I make a non-productive decision for myself, there is nobody out there to pass the buck to. Did you ever get to that point?
I do. I have. Yes, you're right. I did. I
Wow.
do. I realized that, whatever choices I make, I'm the only one that's going to have to live with them.
Mm-hmm.
So whether I go to the left or to the right, I'm the only one that got to live with the choice that I made.
Mm-hmm.
And if I make the wrong choice, I don't need to make an excuse for it. I just need to deal with it, live with it, and move on.
Man, Trouble, you just shone light on the whole movement right now. I appreciate your call. Kentucky is in the building because of you. Voice of reason. Thank you, honey. Let me move back to Danisha. Your story is interesting. I know you had to come to that point and put it all on your shoulders and mash. Your situation was strong and long. Talk to me about when you said excuses is not going to cut it for yourself personally.
Wow. I think that it was kind of a similar situation like Trouble. I think there comes a point where you just need to grow up. And when you're constantly making excuses, it's more of you're succumbing to that victim mentality. And if you are making an excuse, you're not, like you said, holding yourself accountable. So for me, you know, when my daughter's father died, there was nobody there to pick up the pieces. Nobody there that was, and I'm thinking that's what you're referring to.
No, come on, go hard in the paint. This is the Foxxhole shit.
But no, when he died, I was 23 years old. I could have made a million excuses. I could have said, "Oh, I'm a single mom. I've been sitting around the house and." Woe is me, my daughter's dad, you know, got cancer during my pregnancy and made a million excuses. But it doesn't, at the end of the day, what does an excuse do for you?
It holds you back.
It holds you back.
It keeps you in a holding pattern. People don't understand. Whatever the thinker thinks, the prover will prove. Whatever you think, if you want to be religious about it, be religious about it. Hosea 4:6. Right. As a man thinketh, so is he. Transactional psychology just breaks it down a different kind of way. When you put a particular, or when you have a particular script playing in your mind, you can have a winner script playing in your mind, or you can have a fucking loser script playing in your mind. Confucius said, whatever you think, right, about the truth, or whatever you think is real or false is true. The man who says he can and the man who says he can't are both right. We manifest our own existence. This is how listen, don't make me get too deep.
Get deep.
God damn it. This is the core of religion. This is what religion is about. This is what Maslow was talking about at his pyramid of needs. You cannot get to the point of creating a reality the way you want it to be, the way you see it, until you're self-actualized. You can't get to that top rung of the pyramid until you knock off all of the bottom rungs. What's the bottom rung? Nigga, I need a jacket, I need a sandwich, and I need a roof. Once you get, and I need somewhere to dump, use the bathroom. Once you get past excretion, shelter, food, then you start moving up the pyramid to self-actualization. We're not self-actualized because too many excuses keeps us in a holding pattern. That's just like a 9-to-5 job. A 9-to-5 job, somebody who aspires to have a 9-to-5 job aspires to be locked in a particular economic strata. Enough to keep your bills and your basic needs flowing. But the person that has the desire to change his life, to live the kind of life he wants to live with financial freedom, he has to go the opposite way of the basic, well, this will take care of me for now kind of mentality. You understand what I'm saying, Danisha? You know for sure because you're balling. Can I borrow $20? Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Foxxhole Radio. ZoWilliams. I'm telling you, what had happened is tonight's topic. Please reach out to me. 877-210-6106 is the number to dial. I got a shitload of callers. Don't go nowhere. We're about to take a quick break, and I'll build with y'all in a minute. Peace. Woo. Just let that breathe. Turn it up a little bit. No, let go. Let her go for a minute. Come on. Erica. This nigga bringing the homies over, playing video games. Excuse. Damn, I was up all night with Jacob playing Madden. I ain't trying to rub on you right now.
That's not a good reason.
What the fuck? Or you came out while the homeboy was there, or they was playing and you had on the negligee. Go back. I'll be out there. I'll be in there in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, ZoWilliams. What had happened was, come on, y'all. Can we do better? Can we? Is it possible? Danisha, share your story. There's more to your story. Y'all don't know. Danisha is she's a real estate mogul.
Oh,
when
Lord.
we say, let's just be honest.
It's all relative.
All I'm saying is, when you work for the company and your name is on it, and then it says and associates after your name, nigga, I need some food. I don't know. I need some money. I need a loan. I don't. She sells commercial buildings. She don't sell houses. She could do that too, but she's selling buildings to motherfuckers. This ain't no small time guppy right here. Talk to us about the transition and how you got into that business and what you're doing right now with regards to Mom Logic. Let's go.
Oh, I think that there comes a point where you can make excuses about little things, and then when you really look at the excuses that you make in your life and you really look at the big things, is when you really can make breakthroughs. And for me, that really came at a time when there was no excuse to be had. There was, dinner had to be on the table. Right. I was eating top ramen. I was on unemployment. I was on WIC. It was all bad.
Yeah, for all those who don't know what WIC is, that's women and children. Free milk and cheese.
Right.
Continue.
Right. So it was all bad for a long time. And then I started trying to make a way and try to find a mentor. And I did a lot of steps. It would be we'd be here all night if I was talking about all the excuses and I was making in my life to get to the point where I started. Really.
When did you recognize that the excuse was an albatross around the neck of success? Go.
Go. No, I think it was the day he died.
And you knew, like,
it's me. Everything is on me.
Right. Right.
You know, I think I was relying on him to take care of everything.
And then you went into the Jay-Z I will not lose mode, right?
Yeah.
And had to go hard
in a major way. Yeah.
Big Slim from Memphis. You're in the Voice of Reason. It's your time to chime. Holla.
How's it going this evening, everybody? What's going on?
What up, man? How you doing?
Man, another day. I'm blessed. Hey, I called because I was a man of many excuses. I got out the Marine Corps and back in 2004, and I started driving trucks right after. And I just said to myself, I want to own my own truck, but I was telling myself, well, I ain't got no money for no down payment, and I was basically waiting on everybody else. I actually had a chance to listen to Barack Obama give a speech about, procrastination and blame everybody else for your downfall, why you're not successful. So, I took it upon myself. I said, I'm going to go for broke. I said, don't nobody else believe in me. I'm going to do it myself. Got here August last year. I bought my very first truck. Now, December 31st of this year, my first truck will be paid for. I didn't take no vacation. I started going to school, working on my associate's degree. I'm just like, I'm trying to set myself up to be, I want my kids to look up to me and not LeBron James or Lil Wayne or somebody, That's what success really is,
Right,
You just got to get out and really be focused on what you're doing and rely upon yourself at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, that's all you got.
Wow. Big Slim from Memphis. You brought him into the building, man. That was wisdom. I appreciate the call. I'm here every Thursday. 877-210-610 is the number to dial. Call me right now. This topic is a meaningful one, a purposeful one, a passionate one, a poignant one that will help us grow and evolve as people. Let me ask this question. There's this thing, again, I like to do sociology and psychology. There's this thing called the demand and withdrawal theory. And usually in interpersonal relationships, it is the woman that demands and then the man withdraws. And what happens is, and that's not to say that there's no variability in that. Sometimes the men withdraw, or sometimes the men demand and the woman withdraw. But studies have shown that it's more times than not the woman is doing the demanding, right? And the man is doing the withdrawal, and they create a negative cycle, right? How the negative cycle is because there's payoffs, negative payoffs in the cycle. How? The woman demands. So the man goes, okay, I'll do it. She gets paid off because he said, okay, I'll do it. He gets paid off because she's quiet. She stops demanding, but it's only momentarily. So what happens is she raises her voice. She raises the intensity of the demand. He goes, oh, okay, I promise I'll do it this time. She's quiet again. But at the same time, she's rewarded because she says, well, if I raise the intensity, he responds. So it creates a negative cycle. Now apply that cycle, the demand and withdrawal cycle, to African Americans, the community, as it relates to the government. Right? Mm-hmm. We are demanding. They say, okay. Then they withdraw. 40 acres and a mule. Then we go gather, millions of us in 95. We demand, we march, we do all that shit. They say, okay. Then they withdraw. We gotta stop making excuses and demands. Remember what I said about when you have to demand something, you don't have it. You have to command it. When you command something, that means people are they're just intrinsically drawn to you, and you don't have to ask because it's emanating from the inside outward. Talk to me, Danisha. What do you think about the concept?
I think that men think that women like to nag and demand.
You do.
No.
Yes, you
actually,
do.
we really resent you for it.
No, you don't.
No, really. We don't like to have to remind you. Like, I told him 50 million times, take out the trash. I've told him I need to get help with my daughter's hair at this time or whatever it is. We've given you 1,000,000 times.
You've given us?
Well,
you offered it to me. Have her bathed and brought to my quarters at once. Oh, ha!
So silly. We've reminded you, and we resent that reminding. So I think that becomes, and it does come off as nagging and whining, and then that's what the tone becomes. I think that women, I don't think we have the answer. I know I don't, to how to just command it, and you guys do all the things that we want you to do.
So really quickly,
without us saying anything.
Man, Danisha, you know you drop wisdom. It's all good. I'm going to have you back more times than not. Accountability in dating relationships. It's easier to point the finger than to accept responsibility for our actions. 5 ways to avoid being a blame gamer. Identify your role in the scenario. Identify other people's role in the scenario. Analyze your emotions and your reactions. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a reactionary dude. You feel me? I got buttons. You know what I'm saying? And those buttons are not internal.
Not me.
Them motherfuckers are outside. and I'm gonna be honest. It's been a struggle for me to keep those buttons in check. Like I said, I'm a man in progress. I make mistakes every single day. But like I tell my son the same thing that I apply to myself. I say, listen here. Every time I make an excuse, I die. A little piece of me dies when I make an excuse. And I say, man, part of being a man is acknowledging your responsibility, acknowledging your contribution to anything that happens in your life, pro or con. And I think that's a very important thing to say. As a matter of fact, my man just walked in. He's got to come on and say something about this because he knows what I'm talking about. Come over here, Lou. Shit. Lou Dix is in the building.
In the house.
Motherfuckers. Pepper jack cheese.
Yeah, hey, what's up? How you doing,
Hey,
Dave?
Lou.
Hey, it's good to see you. What's up, Zoe?
What's up, man?
Everybody's going crazy on the little blogs.
Oh, man.
It's like
they don't know that me and Lou, we got that kind of relationship,
and what's
man.
really interesting is they don't know that Zoe's taking the time to walk with my son and have conversations with my son because he didn't really want to talk to me, father, son. So Zoe and I have a depth in our relationship that the young bloggers just don't know about. And I actually hope that the young boys out there who think, oh, we two fight and all that, one day reach that level with another man.
Right.
And especially the ones who out there clown. Well, men have a deepness about them which can get raw, can get, we really need to get more emotional with each other so we can help each other, get over that stuff. But I just think, like Zoe and I, we talked this morning, and the beautiful thing was it was his view and my view. And as, my personal views were, but the thing is, I think we just have to establish more depth in each other to know each other.
Oh, man.
There's no history. We have history that these other clowns will know nothing about out there, which allows us to get heated. And if you have family members and you've had arguments and you get heated, you don't go to rumbling.
No.
Because you're going to see them again. And you young boys that think they know how to fight out there and all that, you all don't know about fighting. Y'all do this little punk cyber fighting.
Fighting.
You all getting bullied on
Not
the
just
internet.
them.
You know what I'm saying?
Not
So
just them.
right. So you all
You
get
guys
bullied
are worried
on the
about internet
right.
stalkers.
So what I'm learning is that when all you start able to do things physically, man to man, XY chromosome, face to face, then I think
And that's what I was trying to tell some people on the blogger sphere today. You know, they was like, I agree with Lou and I don't agree with Zoe, and it was a 50-50 kind of split. And my thing was, all of these cats missed important points that the both of us were making. There was at one point during our exchange, I said, I agree with you, Lou. Partly. Right? So they didn't hear that. They don't hear that we agree on a lot of things. And at the end of the day, we respect where each other is coming from. We might have got a little heated.
Because here's the one thing I noticed that you all don't see. I see Joe with his kids all the time. See, that's the thing you don't know. Walking with them, talking. Zoe and I was so interested. My car had broke down. We were going to the Laker game.
Oh, shit.
And it was so funny because Zoe had the tickets and Marcus had given it to us. So my son and I just caught the bus. We're like, we're going to catch the bus. Zoe and his son drives by the bus stop. And his car looks at us and we hop in.
No, what was crazy was Lou scared the shit out of us. That's what happened.
Jump right in.
I'm like here just like looking, and this motherfucker just walks up and opens the door. My son jumped like, hey, shit, niggas, climbing in the car, and it's them.
and Zoe did something you all want to see it. We had our basketball game Saturday. They had the D-League tryouts. And Zoe was over there talking to his son. And he said, you know why they're trying out now? Because they didn't do what they were supposed to do when they were in college and high school.
I heard that.
See, and you all don't see that as
men. Made an excuse.
I found every ex-pro player that was coaching these D-League cats. And I made, hey, Pig Miller, come here. Talk to my son. Tell him how difficult it is. He said, son, it's about 300 folks over here, right? We're going to pick about 2. And this ain't even for the NBA. This is for the fucking D-League.
Right.
So I told him, and he said, and the reason why they're here is because they weren't serious at your age.
Right. And that's the thing.
Olden Polynese, come here.
Thank you.
Hey, boy, what size shoe this little boy wear? Yeah, this nigga's a hobbit. He has a size 12.5. Please talk to Frodo. Dude, this shit's gonna be hard. No matter. And Will Smith, talent versus skill. Will Smith says everybody has a talent, but your talent is meaningless and it will fail you until you sharpen it into a skill.
Absolutely. And then other men will respect that skill because they know the journey you've taken. And that's when you learn to respect people, when you see their journey and you realize that's not my journey, but I still had to go on a journey. And it's funny because they're all tripping on the failure. This word was your failure at happiness. And I was thinking about that.
Lou's a happy motherfucker.
And it's funny because
it's just that I'm poignant, Lou.
Right,
Shit,
no, it
I'm
was
articulate
right to the point.
I'm a poet.
It was interesting because you fail in a lot of things, and then you find happiness in a lot of things. And I was telling the guy, I talk about my ex-wife and all that, but she's one beautiful person who loves her children. And she's, by far an excellent mom.
I spoke to her. And
yeah,
she's really
at another level when it comes to motherhood, and it just didn't work for us together. But the respect and love I have for her goes way beyond anything emotional. And that's what I see Zoe doing. And that's why I have respect for Zoe.
Right.
I'll argue with Zoe anytime because I'm going to come away learning something.
Right. And I'm going to be honest real quick. We're going to wrap the show right now. But this ain't about a go hard, go home kind of concept. This is about grown-ass men, full-fledged alpha men who believe what they believe and won't back off of that shit, clashing. Steel sharpens steel. You understand? And the warrior respects his opponent. He doesn't disrespect him. He doesn't disregard him.
Spread the word.
He respects him. So, the youth, y'all got to learn from us because trust me, we still the youth too because we got the rock. We're going to show you how to play this game and then we'll pass the baton. So with that said, any excuse in your life will serve as a tyrant. Aesop, right? Justifying a fault only doubles it. That's a French proverb. And what I want to say real quick, if you want to continue this conversation, ZO@Sirius-Radio.com. Find me on Facebook. Find me on MySpace. Find me at Twitter. All that bullshit. Let's continue talking, right? We got to keep the open dialogue. Now, with that said, go see the Foxxhole Radio Tour with our friends from Bud Light, Johnny Mac, Claudia Jordan, Speedy, the Poetess, Louis Dix, and TDP. And maybe me. I'm trying to tag along like a motherfucker. New York, Miami. Oh, shit, nigga. I'm trying to see some Cubans, for real. I'm just saying. Friday, November 21st at 650 North Dearborn Street in Chicago. You guys got to get at them. They're going to be there. The show starts, both of these shows, because they have one at the XO Lounge And both of these shows start at 6 p.m. and will end at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Like I said, that's Friday, November 20th, 2009, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. The Joint, 650 North Dearborn Street, Chicago, Illinois. Y'all should call Stan the owner. You know what I mean? Call Stan the owner. 312-969-001. That's Stan the owner of The Joint. Saturday, the 21st, Exo Lounge, 3146 Locust Street and Compton. There's a Compton Avenue in Chicago? Shit, I wonder if there are Crips there. I don't know. Fuck
Crips
it.
are everywhere.
Exactly. St. Louis, Missouri. No, that's not Chicago. That's St. Louis, Missouri. 314-504-3795. Look, man, this thing is great. Go out, support the Foxxhole. This is the most unique form of radio in all of radio. So get at us, let us know what's up, and I appreciate you guys. Oh, give it up then. We want to do a final thought. I like to do a final thought, and my final thought is always connected to my listeners. This is crazy. You know, tonight's topic is about excuses. Well, what had happened was we got to stop doing that. Iris from Tennessee. My partner blames his actions on his anger. Look up black male privilege, like I told you, right? She doesn't understand where he's coming from. Please look up black male privilege. Look up that book, A New Black Man, Michael Anthony Neal. Now, fucking hilarious. There are only excuses and no reasons. I don't agree.
I do.
I don't agree. There's a reason for everything. Look up the fundamental attribution error. We got to stop judging people solely on their behaviors and try to connect deeper to the intrinsic nuance of their intentions. I always tell you women, behaviors don't speak louder than intentions. They only speak louder than words. Trouble from Kentucky realized she was grown and stopped making excuses at 22. Good for you, honey. Live your life. Do the damn thing. I got your back. Big Slim from Memphis was a man of many excuses, but took it upon himself to make a change. I want my kids to look up to me, not LeBron James and Lil Wayne. Me too. And for all those people out there that I've disrespected and hurt and shit, lost my cool with, you know I love you and I respect you, and I'm a man in progress. I'll see you motherfuckers next week. Holla!